stage.
Hello, everyone, and it's fantastic to be here with you today. As Kevin mentioned, my name is Jacqui Watts, and I lead the Learning and Insights efforts at the Patrick J. McGovern Foundation. And what that means is that I'm passionate about all things supporting organizations in navigating their AI journey and thinking about how AI can impact their work. So we've started to, talk about these themes about responsible AI, and they showed through so brightly in the work that Divya and the CIP team are doing. And I know that a lot of these responsible AI themes are things that are really top of mind for all of us here today. They're going to be a part of our conversations over the next 2 days. And so we really wanted to spend time talking about them here up front today. The activity that we're going to go into over the next 30 minutes or so is really going to give a space for us to reflect, give you a space to reflect on behalf of your organization, but also to collectively reflect as a group of how these responsible AI practices might show up and how they might be practically brought into our work. And so what does that mean as funders practically brought into our work and how we think about grant making? How does AI, how is it integrated into our grant making practices if it is not already? And how does it show up in how we evaluate potential grant partners? For grant partners who are already working with, how is it brought into, or how do we think about supporting them in capacity building efforts and how they're bringing AI into their work and navigating their own AI journey. And then as funders, I'm sure you're thinking internally, how are we going to navigate our own AI journey? And so that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about here in this session is how to make it practical in those ways. Now, we are going to use as a starting point, you might have seen these sheets come around on your table. We're going to use these as a starting point. These are responsible AI principles that PJMF really keeps core to our work. And we put them out there as a starting point for the discussion around responsible AI, not to say that they are the exact 6 principles that everybody should align to, but rather to start getting that conversation going. And part of our activity here today is going to be asking you all to reflect on the values of your organization and how to make responsible AI practices of your own if your foundation has not done so already. And so these are going to be kind of conversation starters. We really think of aligning your organization around responsible AI principles as a really key step in the process of ensuring that responsible AI practices are brought into the work to help know where you're heading, what to prioritize, and so forth and so on. The other part of what we're going to be doing today for our activity is really going to be then thinking about how do we bring that in a very practical way into our work. So going from talk into how do we operationalize those AI principles that might be core to our organization. And in thinking about that practically, we're going to be having everyone here kind of brainstorm around what types of questions might be brought into our conversations with potential grant partners, into, say, our grant proposal process, or asking our internal teams to make sure that the responsible AI practices that we want to see are really upheld by our communities and show through in our work and in our grant partner work. So that is to give you a taste of what we're going to be doing for this activity. Now, the first section, and I'm not sure if let's see, if I have okay. So the first step that we're going to do over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to give everybody just a few minutes of heads down time first to really reflect on what are the values of your organization and how do those potentially align, or where do you see some differences in what you might prioritize as an organization. If if your organization has already done some of this legwork, fantastic. Feel free to jot it down. Those are going to be great things to add to the conversation when we move to the group discussion. And it would be lovely for you to share a bit more about how your organization went about deciding and aligning on those principles and how that's been working for you. But take a few minutes, do that heads down time to reflect. What's missing from the 6 principles here that you think would be relevant for your organization? How might you tweak or massage these principles to make them your own? And then in a few minutes, I'll move everybody into a more group discussion where you'll share out with the rest of your table.